Hello, and welcome to this webinar on how to fully benefit from the use of instrument networking software. My name is Henrik Elholm, and I'm responsible for feed and forage in FOSS. We are a company with many years of experience with NIR technology in feed and food, and furthermore, which is highly relevant for today's topic, we have pioneered the development and application of instrument networking software, which today is being used by most of the major feed producers around the world. This webinar is the second in a series of 3 webinars. Last week, we shared our perspectives on how to choose the right combination of spectrometer technology and chemometric models. And next week, we will address options for how customers can improve on the uptime and performance of their NIR solution. Today, we are presenting an interview with Mr. Anuvat Vaitayasupit from Betagro. The interview highlights how Betagro has benefited from employing instrument networking software in their operations. Mr. Anuvat Vaitayasupit is a Senior Department Manager of NIR Analysis with Betagro, which is a Thailand-based, fully integrated agro-industrial company and a major feed producer in Southeast Asia. The interview is conducted by Martin Anderson, who is Application Specialist with FOSS. For the last 10 years, Martin has been working with almost all the animal feed producers in Southeast Asia, assisting them to implement NIR for quality control in a modern way, where data analytics helps customers better access and manage information in order to prioritize efforts and take proper initiatives across operations. After the interview, Martin will present details on the features and benefits of using FOSS Manager, and in the end, there will be a Q&A session where we will answer questions from the webinar participants. Before we start, a few practical remarks. All external participants are muted throughout the webinar for practical reasons, but we encourage you to ask questions as we go along using the questions function. We will then answer the questions when we get to the Q&A section. Later, we will provide a recording of the webinar to all the participants. And with that said, I would like to hand over to Martin. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction, Henrik. I am Martin Anderson, and I have to say thank you for joining. A very warm welcome to all of you. It's thrilling to see the number of participants in this webinar. Today's title is Reap the Benefits of Instrument Networking. It means how to harvest or how to get all the benefits from having instruments connected in a network. How to get the most out of your production plants, in this case, feed mills. In February 2020, I met with Mr. Anuvat Vaitayasupit at the Asian Near-Infrared Conference in Khon Kaen, Thailand. It's always a pleasure to talk to him and to learn from him. And at that time, I was very happy to hear the way he confirmed and how he put words to the value of connectivity. We use it to standardize our feed plants, he said. So this is about more than benefits of instrument networking, as you know, the title said. It's about standardizing the quality across production facilities and the link between quality and brand. I mean, they put their company brand on the finished product and they label it with nutritional composition. So this is what their customers expect to be inside. Just like you and I. When we buy something in the supermarket, we know what to expect from the brand. From FOSS, we are very delighted to be able to share with you the story about Betagro's smart use of analytical technology for securing new levels of consistent quality in feed products. You are about to see an interview with Mr. Anuvat Vaitayasupit, Senior Department Manager of Infrared Analysis at Betagro. He reveals how the use of a product called FOSS Manager is proving instrumental in making consistent output from their different feed plants, regardless of location. So whether the plants are located across Thailand and Cambodia, they always deliver the same high quality because raw materials and finished feeds can be monitored using FOSS Manager. And this is even from Betagro's headquarters. So then prompt action can be taken if any inconsistencies should appear. So now over to Mr. Anuvat Vaitayasopit.
My name is Anuvat Vaitayasopit, but it's so long, so you can call me AM. I am our Senior Manager Department of NIR Analysis in Betagro Group. We have feed mill in Thailand, Cambodia, in the total 12 feed factory. And also we will have 2 new plants in the Myanmar and Thailand in the next year. The total volume of capacity of feed mill is around 200,000 tons per month. Betagro customer is the Thai farmer and also in the Cambodia also. That they need the highest possible feed quality and reasonable price. So we have to supply them in the term of the quality and also in the cost also. As I said, the quality is number one for us, and we rely on the NIR for more than 90% already. We were interested in our NIR network. It's one standard and more efficiency, but we have an issue in the location because the distance between the factory that put the NIR is the far from another. So we have to looking for the equipment or the network for support this issue. And the force manager is our answer. Actually, in the Betagro we call the core value, and one of the core value of Betagro is the quality. So the quality is our priority. In the term of when we use the NIR, they can support us for just like we can check all the raw material that we buy from the supplier before we send to the production, and in the production also we can check the quality of finished product before we send to the customer, so we can guarantee the product that released from our process that checked by the NIR is the high quality. Actually, we use all kinds of the analytical method, including the classical methods like a titrate, something like that. But actually, now we rely on the NIR more than 90% of the sample that's sampling in the laboratory, each factory. Actually, there are many good results for the connecting the NIR with the force networking. May I just like give the example? The first one is that link tests are easy to evaluate with force manager. They help us just like keep up the quality of raw material and finished feed. So that I say this is a Betagro, we use the one standard. So the raw material and the finished product have to use the one standard for evaluate. So I can see the just like variation of raw material or finished product from the graph function in the force manager. And another one, the overview of instrument. So I can check the instrument health for every factory in the same time, and I can get the data for just like protect the breakdown of instrument, because we run the instrument of the NIR in the 40 hours and 7 days in a week. So we cannot shut down the NIR. In this function is just like our routine work, because we have to release the report from the force manager to supplier in case they buy the raw material to us in every truck. And also in the term of finished product, we have to check is every batch in the product. So in every day or in routine day, we have to issue the report to the customer and also to the supplier also. In the force manager is many the function that is very just like a very support us, but I can give you the example for number one, the sample set. This is the sample set. It's just like you can group the product in the force manager. So we have just like we have many factory, right? And we can compare the quality for every factory in the same time in the sample set. So I can see the just like I can see the consistency of the raw material or something that I can improve the production by this function also. In the term of comparing the performance across our feed mill, our NIR time is using the force manager. They use the graph to see the variation or the consistency of the raw material and the finished product. So we can see just like we can see whatever or what happened in each fish mill in the same time. So we can manage the just like we can manage the quality, and we can manage the supplier also, that okay, this supplier have the problem, we have to check something more, or this supplier is okay, you can accept it's just like a fast tag something. In the term of quality, the better band is built on the quality. So getting in the same quality across fish mill, I mean because I have the many fish mill, so I have just like use the same quality and the same standard in a cross fish mill, no matter the country or location, is very important to us. And in the term of time, that as I said, we can reduce the operation time, traveling time to the site, and we can get the real-time information to make a decision and what we should to do.
So thank you for that, and I think it's I have to say this is a fantastic presentation by M. It's good he has this easy nickname, one letter nickname M, so also us who cannot speak Thai can call him. And I will now share my screen, and I will go a little bit more into the details on exactly how Force Manager is used. I mean, like in practice, how actually do you maneuver in the software? And also to answer some common questions that I have collected over the years when working with customers and working with Force Manager. So yeah, first of all, so Force Manager is a one of many digital offerings that we have now in Force. So Force Manager, this is obviously this is for your instrument management and yeah, to prevent instrument downtime and so on. We also have for instrument health checks like Force Assure and Force Assure Pro. And they are like subscriptions that you can get, and you get a monthly report on the condition of your hardware and your basic standard operating procedures for the Force Assure. And for the Force Assure Pro, you get also support on the calibration monitoring and advices on how to proceed with bias adjustments and so on. And on the right-hand side, you have Force Calibrator and the Force Calibrator Pro. This is the new calibration software for optimizing the calibration performance. But today, the main topic is about Force Manager, and we will save the other ones for a different session. Yeah, first of all, you may ask the question, what's the difference between the old style standalone that you have one instrument and one PC, or maybe yeah, it can be a built-in PC also. It is a standalone, and if it's connected, what is actually the difference in practical use? Well, I can say that the practical use is not so much different. I mean, the difference is that you have to move around a little bit less. and you have to use remote software and so on, a little bit less like TeamViewer and so on. So this is here, you can see the screen from Mosaic Solo. And yeah, this is for standalone, and by the way, nowadays we call it local configurator instead. But you can see up there in the let me see, up here. See, it's only one instrument you can see up there. And so if we then switch to the networking software, yeah, so then the first thing that you have to do is that you need to log in. So you have a user ID and a password, and you log in to in this case, this is the Betagro server that we are logging into. And actually, not we, but they logged in, and then I recorded the screen. So then after logging in, it looks like this. You get an overview of all of the instruments. You can see them here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's the whole fleet that should be managed and controlled. And yeah, you can make sure that they all are running on the same calibration. You can make sure what is the slope and intercept and so on. This is managed centrally rather than locally as it was in the past. So yeah, we can break this down also to some features and benefits and common questions. And one of the comments I got, both from customers but also from internally, what's the meaning of all this? We save all our calibration files on a network drive, and that's much easier, isn't it? And we can share maybe with Dropbox or whatever. But it's it can easily become like this, hundreds of files, and this is not an exaggeration. I have seen cases like this, sometimes even on the desktop. It's amazing how many files can be produced. So it's also, when you connect an instrument, of course it can be centrally managed, but it's also an automatic backup. All spectra being backed up, all results, all applications, all settings, cups, subsamples, and so on. Everything, all is being backed up. And you can access this, of course, also from other office, or if you're traveling in an airport, you can log in and you can see what are the settings and what are the results. Yeah, so finally, at the bottom, you can see that a broken computer can easily be replaced. And I often say, it's not a matter of if a computer will break, it's a matter of when it will break. And when it breaks, you put a new PC there with Windows 10, and then you install the instrument software, and yeah, set up for the internet connection, and then it will start synchronizing, and you will get everything back. Of course, not all you will get all the applications back, but the spectra, they reside on the server, so they are not really any meaning to push them back to the PC. So like this, you can see here the screen recording from Betagro, how all of their products. There are many of them. It's because it depends a bit sometimes on the origin, the country of the raw material, and so on. So breaking it down into many calibrations. Here you can see that this is a list of prediction modes. That's even more then, because each product has many prediction modes, like one for protein, one for leucine, as we can see here on the screen, one for moisture, and so on. Yeah, so this is how it looks in practice, and how you can maneuver and how you can see the properties of all this. And there is also something I like very much myself here, is that you have this, you can select the prediction model, and then you can say go to, and then you can see which are the products that are using this prediction model. So you can see actually the same prediction model being used across many products. So let's continue here now, and with the next common question is that it seems complicated to connect, and isn't, why should we make a change? Why should we change from our old software? We know how to use it, and the old software is better, isn't it? Well, then I say that, so this is how it looks on the screen. So the connection is running in the background while the operator is analyzing samples, and it's not at all complicated. The operator scanning the sample doesn't even notice that it's connected. So yeah, like this we have here. Yeah, now it's coming. This my favorite here, how to update an instrument. And here before, so we call this, so you make new calibrations, you make new settings and so on. And once you are finished with this in FOSS Manager, then you right click either on one instrument or a group of instruments or a whole network. Then you get this update session. And what just happened here was the update session was validated and then pressed OK. So now actually the most recent settings and the most recent changes will be pushed out. In this case, only to one instrument, but you can do this also for a folder. So it will be for many instruments. And yeah, this is another way to solve the problem without getting FOSS Manager. So you can say, I don't need FOSS Manager because I use email. Email is easier, isn't it? So I can do like this. I can send to all the NIR users new equation files for update, and you can see here are the attachment. And I send this. I have a group, so all will get this. It's quite efficient, it seems. So I say, dear all, please install the attached update, and after doing so, let me know. Best regards, Martin. So this is, it's funny because I have actually been doing this myself in my previous work before FOSS, but also in FOSS when I have been supporting customers. But what will happen after this? What is going to happen after I send my email? Well, actually, maybe I don't know because, I don't know what happened. Did they install them or not? There is no verification. Maybe some of them will be kind and write me back and say that, yeah, we have now installed the calibrations, but maybe some of them don't install the calibrations and they will definitely not reply. And the ones who install them, some of them will reply. So I have to send a new email. So to the NIR users, but now also CC to the managers to give some more power to it. So I say, dear all, this is a gentle reminder. Please install the attached update, and after doing so, let me know, Martin. So so this is the problem that we solve with. Not only this problem, we solve many problems with FOSS Manager. It's like you come here and you say like this. Actually, now we are in an operation profile, but you select a group of instruments and you update them at once. Now we're coming to a view here with different cups. So it is, of course, important that if you decide that everyone should use a slurry cup for the oils, for example, if you measure oil with a gold reflector, then you publish this in the update here, and everyone will get the same type of usage. Otherwise, you may easily get into trouble because maybe in some sites they will be using a small cup. Otherwise, they put the oil in a large cup. Other places they put it in the slurry cup. And was built for the slurry cup if it's oil, say. But so this is really important that you can lock the whole system and control the whole system. Which is actually in the end good for accuracy, because you're getting, if you do things right, obviously you get better accuracy. If you do things wrong, that will of course affect the accuracy. So then I have a question here that is that we use remote desktop, TeamViewer, or VLC, remote, you know, the software that you can log in to another PC. And maybe you can think this is easier, isn't it? Well, let me then say that, you know, you have to repeat for all of the clients. So if you have, say, 5 instruments, then you need to do this 5 times. If you have only 1, of course, it may be not so big difference. But the first point here, I think this is quite astonishing when you think about it. So the first thing you say is to the operator. So, dear operator, please stop working with the quality control work. Please stop your QA analysis because I have some updates I need to do. And you can hear it sounds really bad. So then you log into the client and you select the samples to export, you transfer the samples, transfer new calibrations, install calibrations, and when you're finished, you ask the operator to continue working if you can reach him or her. Yeah. So this is the old style that I find quite inefficient and especially, you know, not attractive, that the important quality work needs to be stopped. So here you see, this is a screen dump of the update sessions, and you can see, you know, instrument updates. You can go a little bit more into the details there on the right-hand side. You can see actually here also, if I say most of the update sessions are going well. I mean, it's like this today because internet is getting better and better, but there are probably, you know, some locations where the internet connection is not so good. So then it's failing here. Of course, then, you know, what will happen is it's going to retry until the update session is completed. So you may get a red one here, but it will finally become good. So and here also you can right click and get into more details, but we don't do that now. This is an overview. Yeah, like I said before, so you can say you have, you know, all this is yeah, because Betagro is a feed company. So I have the example here for another company I call Best Feed Corporation, and this is Best Feed Aqua, Best Feed Agro, and you know, different folders, and you can update all of the instruments that are in this folder. And another comment I got is that, you know, why you have so many software in FOSS. So isn't it better to have one software for anything, for everything? So this is something that, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's like competitors to FOSS who happen to have one software for everything. They think this is something unique and good, and then they promote this. But we have concluded quite long time ago that you know, the calibration work here, in this case you can see a screenshot of FOSS Calibrator, that the work of the person making the calibration is quite much different to the person who is analyzing samples on a routine basis. So with that said, I mean, that's the reason why we split it up. And then you can see here is also the old ISI scan software. So it's the old ISI scan and new ISI scan. So still in use for some instruments. And then the instrument management. That's of course also managing the instruments and setting up the products and making sure that the whole network is intact. That's a different issue than analyzing samples and making calibrations from scratch. And I think it's a little bit like Microsoft. You know, of course, Microsoft, they could also have one software, and it's called Office. And then you have the menus there. Yeah, it's getting much more menus, and you haven't. So, you know, putting Excel and PowerPoint and Word and Outlook, you can put them all together into one software. But is that really better? I don't think so. I think it's better to have them separated, because when you make calculations in Excel And if you write a document, a report, that's a quite different kind of work. And here is I think it's we are getting to the end of the questions, and we will see a little bit more about the most important issue that is coming up. So we save the most important for the last, so we have the most interesting at the end. But some people say we have plenty to key in for every sample, and can we integrate this with other systems? So like, how about QR codes? And yes, actually, we can do that. We can use QR code instead of keyboard at the instruments. And no need to push any button or anything in the analysis software. And on top of this, you know, it's really, really nice because you can get the additional information here. We call it user-defined field. So here you have the sample number, and then you have operator name, sampling date, batch number, pan number, or lot number, whatever it can be. This is like additional sample information. And this is something that Betago is using, as in this example here. You can see you have batch number, pallet number, and supplier name, and so on. And why this is there is because you know, the data doesn't stop at the operator place. The data is being, of course, transported to FOSS Manager, and it doesn't even end there, because using the data and getting it in the right place, that's the end of the goal. In the past, it used to be we put the data on a paper, put the paper in a binder, put the binder in the bookshelf, and that was the end of the story. Then came Excel, and people copy and pasted the data into Excel, put the Excel file on a server, and then it was finished, and that was the next step. Now we have the newest way of doing things is that the data from FOSS Manager is going directly into the ERP system. It can be like in I know that Betago, they are using SAP. So all of this, you know, this can be used by the purchasing department to you know, if there is a claim on the protein content and so on, that for adjusting the price or for reducing the cost. Yeah, so when you take the step from old style standalone to become connected with one instrument or with many instruments, the really issue that people seem to have with this is about security. So security is, you know, it's also, security is a little bit different depending on who you talk to, who you're talking to. If you talk to the QA department, if you talk to the IT department, and so on. But it is a question that is coming up quite often. I can say also this is something that came up more in the past. Nowadays, people are using Google Drive, they are using Dropbox, they are using many kinds of like Office 365. People are getting used to that the data is not always stored on the PC. And people are getting away from the idea that storing the data on a PC is more secure than storing it someplace else, you know, like in a cloud service or something like that. So the question is here, we are concerned, they say, when I meet a customer and we are talking about FOSS Manager. We are concerned. Is it secure? And there is a very, very short answer to this. Yes, it's secure, because, you know, this is all based on legal terms and conditions, and, you know, who is the owner of the data, and so on, so on. But let me go into some of the aspects of security, because there are, as I said, different aspects of security. One of the aspects is that the system needs to be up. So if the system is not running, then you cannot use FOSS Manager. Then this is bad security. from a user point of view. So it's secure because this is not FOSS servers in a FOSS basement somewhere like that. This is Microsoft Azure servers that we are using. And this is the most secure that we can think of. And yeah, it's the future. So you have, as I mentioned before, also backup and uptime, all you need. I mean, like everything being backed up and the broken computer can easily be replaced. So that's another kind of security. You're secure that your data doesn't get lost. Number 3 here is that the communication is secure. In the old days, people were using like something called HTTP. It means hypertext transfer protocol. That was the how to send internet packets, internet information from one server or one computer to the other one. It's like sent in like blocks, the blocks one after the other one. And this used to be like these blocks, and when it was HTTP, it was that you could actually, if you have a router somewhere, you could then open up this packet and you could then read inside. But then came HTTPS, and this is what you have for, like, when you communicate with banks, when you communicate over Skype or TeamViewer, VPN traffic and so on. This is on secure packets. It means that the packets sent between the server and the client, they are all encrypted, and only the server and the receiver have the keys. And it's really, in practice, this is impossible to crack. What is this key? So it's secure. That's why it's used for banks and for secret meetings in Skype, and also for FOSS Manager. And as you saw in the beginning, that the way how to protect your data is to have a secure password. So you have a login name and a password. And actually this is similar to like in Microsoft Windows. Many people and many companies, they have a system that the password is being changed every 3 months and something like that. And you can actually also set this up in FOSS Manager. So that is, secure passwords. And also you can also set that a too easy password is not allowed. 123 QWE, for example. And okay, so this is yet another number 5 here. The file handling secure calibration upload. This is something we have not had at all before, because when we made calibrations, we put some files on a PC, and maybe we put those files on a USB. We went to the instrument and we updated the calibration. That, or maybe send by email and so on. But it was like file based. Now we have this other way of doing it in FOSS Calibrator. Here you can see in the left. You publish in this case, a FAT calibration. And you publish this directly to, it says here FOSS Connect, it should be FOSS Manager. This has been changed, it's an old version. So you publish to FOSS Manager, and you're coming here to FOSS Manager and, connecting to it. I connect here to Best Feed Corporation, and I have engine is I scan here normally. Then it's coming here and says, the upload to FOSS Manager is completed. And then finally, you can find inside FOSS Manager here, you can find in the transfer area, it's like, you see, it's a parking space. So that is where the transfer calibrations are being stored. So all in all, you can say goodbye to files, because files that can be stolen or corrupted, tampered with, and so on, they are never on disk anymore if you are following this new approach. File handling, encryption, and protection. So if you insist that you still want to have files, and actually that could be the case if there is in a location where there's simply not internet available yet. So until they get internet available, you can then use a protected format. And new from earlier this year or the end of last year is that we have now, I know this looks terrible. This is, very many details, but the devil is in the details. So it's like we used to have 4 levels of access to FOSS Manager. It used to be system manager, network manager, group manager, and express user. Express user is only for one instrument, and as you can see here, this is still remaining, and group manager is also remaining. And what people can do, for example, like delete products, adjust bias and slope, remove equations, change names of products, and so on. It's different than what people could do in the past. Express, group manager, network administrator, and system manager. So, but we got the feedback from many customers and users that actually it would be nice if there are more levels. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 levels. And yeah, actually you can create a vast amount because you can actually fine tune this and say exactly what every single user is allowed to do. And why I bring up this here is because this is of course also part of security, that people cannot tamper with bias and so on, or they can they cannot see the data from another site or something like this. This is you can control, and this is just exactly the same as you have in Windows. So some things you need administrator rights to do, and some you just need plain user rights. So finally here, of course, this is if someone is leaving your company, you can of course then you can in the top here see you can disable this person, and you can even actually right click and delete that person. So they can this is a necessary user handling, also the same as in Windows. Then we have the number 10 here, and it's getting quite many points, but security is important, and yes, it's secure. And I'm just saying now why it's secure, because this is also point number 10 here. Legally, this is based on terms and conditions backed by law. And I can see here, and I'm sorry to show a little bit old terms and conditions. Now we have a new terms and conditions that is actually the same for instruments, for services, and for digital software products that we are talking about here. So that's a new nice thing. Yeah, the final thing here is that these products like FOSS Manager and the FOSS Digital Business is accredited by ISO 27001. Some people say 27K because it sounds cool, and sometimes I also say it's 27K myself. But this is the highest level of data. So who can see the data? Who can do what? Is it customers' data, or can FOSS take the data and so on? This is very, very clear that this is your data residing on the server. And in fact, if you need help with something with FOSS Manager, of course we will help you. But if you don't, if we want to do something with your network, with your FOSS Manager system, we have to ask you first. And of course, if you are asking for our help, then it's by automatically happening like this. But this is the order. We cannot in FOSS take your data or do anything with your data unless you approve it. So this is the summary: secure servers, data backup, secure data transfer, good password protection, safe calibration transfer, avoid files on disk, encryption, user control, delete users, legal terms and conditions, and finally the ISO 27K, which equals completely secure from my point of view. So we had also the fantastic testimonial and comment by M from Betagro, and he opened up my eyes a bit wider when I met him in Konkan in Thailand last year, because I've been thinking that this is for instrument standardization, and so because I'm a FOSS guy, so I think about the instruments. But actually what he said is that this is for factory standardization. And of course, that is the way that it's being used. So you make sure that the incoming raw materials are being measured, so you can adjust the recipes, and then you check throughout the production, and the final product you check before shipping. So with FOSS Manager, according to M, you can then reach to something called feed plant standardization or factory standardization, like this. See, no matter the location, the feed coming out will be of the same quality. And so when we are working with FOSS Manager, we can then, we can remotely, in different, here is only the three main user levels being shown, but you can access to the system and you can publish, update, and so on, and then it's coming here to this instruments, or rather you could say coming down to each plant, each factory. And you can also have here what is, of course, if I will be working in a feed mill or something, I will surely get FOSS Manager, but I would also get this FOSS API, because this is something that you can automatically communicate between the FOSS Manager database and other data systems like SAP, M3, whatever data system that you have. And actually, even you can also go the other way, which we have some examples of people doing. So the lab result from Keltec, the protein value, is then entered into a computer, or I don't know, maybe it's automatic, and then it's going in here and back through the FOSS API, and it's coming up here into the FOSS Manager database as a lab value, as a reference value. It's fantastic what you can do today when you think about it. And here is also some screenshots on how you can do slope and intercepts, and you can remove outliers and so on and so. So this is for like ring tests. So like ring tests also you can do ring tests in different ways. You can have a master instrument as the reference. You can have a master laboratory as the reference, or you can have individual labs for each site. So I will not, maybe it seems a bit more efficient to have only one lab doing this, but this is, we have these three options because this is what customers want. And maybe, actually, if you are doing the lab analysis also, then you are doing the ring test, not only on the NIR, but also on the lab data. So yeah, maybe it makes sense. And here you can see all the sample data from different kinds of instruments you can select, and you can make, so sample sets is something very, very central in all this. I mean, it's like, you can think you make different sample sets, it's like folders of samples. And once you have a sample set, you can then add or copy and paste some lab data to it if it's not there already. And you can then, very efficiently, if you have a good system on the sample numbers, that the sample number starts with RNG, like ring 01, this is ring test 1, and then so you can search through the database to find all these samples, and very efficiently you can update the slope and intercept if necessary. And actually, this is also so the software will then propose to you that, you know, here you need to adjust, and here it's like, it's already good. You don't really need to do anything at all. But yeah, back here to this factory standardization or plant standardization, it's like how this can be visualized with FOSS Manager is that you can take out graphs like this, and actually here you can see then it's like BTG, that must be abbreviation for beta-grow. So you can see here, this is parameter is moisture. Some cases, for this one here, you can see that it's generally low moisture, around say 11.4. The green one here has a bit higher moisture. And actually, I think this was for soybean meal, and the one of the really, you know, the important parameters for the feed production. Yeah, you can see it here. You can see here product SBM soybean meal, and BRZ. So this is probably Brazil. And then so of course when the moisture is high, then something else is coming down, and actually so this is one of the important things why you need to measure protein and moisture, because when you know that the moisture is higher, then you need to add a little bit more soy meal to reach to the target. So you change the formulation according to this. So yeah, here it looks like it's spreading, and it looks like beta-grow has a problem, but I don't think so, because I think this is for the raw material side. Then what they do is that they adjust the recipe so that in the end it's coming out as a good product. Finally, here also we have how it can look for analysis reports. M from beta-grow, he mentioned before that for the suppliers they should send an analysis sheet, and he also mentioned that they are doing this 90% with NIR as it is today. So this is one of the examples of how it could look, and also when they sell something, there should be something with it. And these are my about 40 minutes of presentation for today. And thank you very much for joining, and thank you very much for listening. And I hope that, you know, we have many questions that we can go through now. So please comment on that in the chat. And thank you very much for joining. Bye-bye.